All right, welcome back to another episode of Astroneer with myself, Midnight. And last we left off, we were going to take off and check this planet out. Got this nice little nifty little rover we built up really quick. I'm really happy with the loadout on the spaceship for going to new planets. It works really well. We have enough rare resources that we can trade for anything that we need. Before I go too far, since my vehicle here is running on organics only, it'd be a smart thing to maybe gather some organics. What do you think? Think that would be a good idea? I think that would be a great idea. So let's get a couple organics here. We'll stop at the next big patch of organic. And, oop, there's one right there. Look at that. Pick this guy up here. Nice. Not so much. I'm popping them off. Awesome. Alright, stick that on here. And where'd that other one go? Stick that on there. Alright, now we can cruise around some more. I think this is going to be the last episode for this series. This series just dealt with the current version of Astroneer, which was... I don't remember the version number. It's in the playlist. Make sure I can still see my base. It's in the playlist, the version number. And I think we're going to stick with that. Is that a down ship over there? It looked like one of those little ones. That's just a rock. Maybe check out a cave really fast. But then, yeah, call the series over until they come out with a new patch. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I haven't played with yet, or there are some things I haven't played with yet, and I don't want to. I'll say it again. I really don't want to figure out this entire game yet. I want to do that later, not now. Can you not float away, beacon? There we go. Good. I want to save some surprises for later. And later, maybe in the next patch, if the save games still work, I hope they do. I hope they don't do anything that would cause the save games to die. Otherwise, we got to turn around and, think about remaking bases all over again and that type of stuff. Let's stop and give a little power to my vehicle. And then we'll go into this cave here. Let's see what the name of the game is on this planet for caves. Looks like spiky plants. Okay. Careful when I get out. Wow. And not a little bit of spiky plants. We're talking like a lot of spiky plants. Can I get past these guys? It seems like I can drive around, and I have a little spot to get out if I can get out. Let's see, is that going to be a drop of death? Kind of looks that way. So let's turn around. Come out of this cave here. I don't want to get stuck in between these spikers. Looks like there is, found some lithium earlier. This is titanium, so there's a bunch of rare resources available for trade, which is nice. I wound up finding a very nice flat spot to drive around on, which is great. Storm on my heels here. This direction. I don't have to worry about it. About this one. Cave's going in the other way. So it'd be nice to find another thing, a compound up here, so I can make some more beacons. Can't quite get out of my vehicle just yet. Storm will pass here in a second. I don't want to go too much farther. Whoa. It's not nice. Storm right on me. get so lucky with these storms. Seems like my frame rate's kind of suffering. I don't know why my frame rate is suffering. Maybe that has something to do with the number of bases I set up, or I don't know. Who knows? Not sure. Unsure. Oh, I got some hydrazine there. I don't plan on taking off anytime soon. Let's make another beacon. I can do one more beacon only. Put that beacon. Well, hold on to that beacon. I'm going to put it on top of this little hill right here. Let's feed this beast. Okay, let's come up this hill. I think I want to stick that beacon maybe on the other side or the top of this hill. Yeah, let's turn around and look behind us. Yeah, this is a good spot for the beacon. Let's jump out. Just put that beacon down. That way I'll be able to see where I'm going. Got another little cave entrance here. A lot of hydrazine on this planet. Let's see. Am I going to look out? Or is there going to be spiky plants all over the place? Yep, spiky plants all over the place. Ugh. It's really hard to tell when you're inside of a vehicle how steep that is, but I think that that is... Yeah, I can see looking in this corner over here that that's a pretty good fall. Let's not go in any deeper. We just don't need to get killed off by a bunch of spike plants. Lose my vehicle. And have to start over with that again. So let's, let's kind of recap why we're driving around here. Terran planet, when you first get out, your first planet is the Terran planet. You have everything that you possibly need there. Not only to stay there for a pretty long time. I mean, you don't have to leave that planet. There's so much stuff there to do. But you're going to stay there a lot in the first, initially. It's going to be a struggle to even start surviving. It's like you've got to find your first compound. You have to find your first resin to start trying to build your base. And stop. I'm going to feed my ship. But then as you start getting your base going, which I think, you can go smelter, printer, I think are like the first kind of couple things that you can build. And as you start getting your base going, you need to venture out and start finding those other resources. And research is a huge, I think that's another one of the beginning, if I remember correctly, one of the beginning bases that you can build. One of the beginning buildings that you can build on your base. So, my suggestion is stay on Terran until you get, at the very least, 2 additional research bases or little buildings, which is get the research for the spaceship, which is critical. The little shuttle, I mean, it's okay. You just can't carry enough stuff with you to start a decent sized base. And then once you get the spaceship, get the research to do the storage for that particular vehicle. So that's the large storage, not the everyday storage that you can build from day one. We're talking the large storage where you can put that on a truck or you can put that on your spaceship. The other thing that you really want to do is you want to really focus on getting that trade platform. Once you get that trade platform, then you're okay. You know, you're pretty safe. You can trade for everything that you need. And you know what I found out is the rare materials are really the winner. Any kind of titanium or lithium or coal, believe it or not, is considered a rare resource. You wind up getting a good exchange rate for that. So you'll get per rare resource, you'll get 4 compound and 4 resin, which is fantastic. So, you know, I had figured out a good loadout for me for leaving the planet, which was having 4 of these, which is on the back of this rover here, 4 of these little storage. And once you have 4 of these storage, you fill one side up with compound, which is 4, total of 4. You fill one side up with resin, and which is for a total of 4. And then you put in 8 rare resources on the other sides of those. And then for the other 2 storage, you want to have a full, complete storage of copper and a full, complete storage of aluminum. Once you can do that, you're ready. In my opinion, you're ready to leave. You've got everything you need to make a complete base. And so Terran, like I said, Terran, there's everything there. It's abundant. You can go down into the mines and you can find your the rare resources. You can find aluminum, you can find copper, you find all that stuff in the, I keep saying mines, but it's in the caves. You can find all that stuff. So just do that. You know, get to a point where you're either building the rover or you're building the truck to be able to transport all this stuff, because it's going to be a lot of running around. Terran is going to be a lot of running around, trying to get all this initial research done, trying to get all this other stuff set up. Sorry, let me stop here. I need to just peek over this hill, and I need to look back to see if I can see some beacons. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go down to this flat area. This looks kind of interesting. And then, yeah, so once you have that load, like I said, for me, this is just my own, what I found out that works well for me. So do what you want to do. Doesn't matter. Leave the planet. Go to the barren first. Barren planet. What I found out about barren planet, ton of, well, first of all, gravity is really low. It's a very small moon, and it's very hard to drive a vehicle on. You have to go really slow because like every single bump that you hit throws you. But you can find on the surface, if you can get up there, if you're having a hard time finding rare resources, get up to the moon, take a shuttle, get up to the moon, and just mine some of those rare resources, because you can find titanium and lithium up there pretty well. You know, you don't have to worry about it too much. Look at this. Look at these colors. Got purple, green, the sun coming up, a little smoke in the background and foreground. This is pretty awesome. Very pretty. Yeah, let's start heading back. Kind of losing my beacons here. I still haven't found much surface compound. But when you get to the barren planet, you're going to notice that if you go into the caves, you are going to notice that you're finding an enormous amount of compound. At least I did. That was like almost all that I found was like compound everywhere. But not so much resin. So, you know, my suggestion when you go to a new planet, your build order should be something like this. It should be the first thing you're laying down after your hab is you're laying down that trade platform. And the next thing you're laying down is you're laying down the smelter. If you didn't bring any power with you, like in my loadout, I make sure that I have a little solar generator, a little wind generator, and then this little organic generator thing. But if you didn't bring any power with you, then you're going to want to change this loadout a little bit. You're going to want to change the build order a little bit. You're going to want to build the printer first so you can get some power going. And then build your smelter, because the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to wind up smelting more of these resources. If you don't find the rare resources to trade, you're going to have to smelt yourself some whatever resources you can find, whether it be aluminum or whether it be copper, and then use those as your trade. As your trade items. Because organic's not going to give you much. You're not going to want to trade organic. And another storm coming in. This one's going to be off to the side, so hopefully it'll kind of miss me. I could drive around a little bit more. Yo! And yeah, so that's it. You know, just follow that pattern over and over again. Reload up your spaceship with, you know, the same build out that you had, and go and make your base. Ultra slow. And you're going to be able to get to the planets really fast. You're going to be able to set up a little base on each one of the planets pretty quickly. And that's exactly what I did. This is, you know, this video is a great example, or the last video is a great example where, compound, where I, you know, took my loadout and automatically just started building away. And I built all the little pieces I need. You know, I had left Terran after I had all the research, so I didn't bother. I stuck around until I had everything, you know. This is what I'm trying to say. So, coming to another planet, you don't really have to build the research facility. You do. I think my next planet after Barren Planet was Arid. On the Arid planet, was it Arid? I can't remember. I don't remember if it was Barren or Arid, but one of the planets I actually had to build the research station just so that I could start opening up research items to try to get a resource that I needed. But otherwise, once you've got all the research items, you don't need to do this anymore. Now, granted, this is one of the early pre-alphas. We keep saying that and just keep on reiterating that. This is not done by any stretch of the imagination. So, by the time we have the next couple builds, I don't know if it's going to be, you know, all that feasible, or by the time that this product releases, I don't know if it's going to be feasible to be able to complete all the research before you leave one planet. Maybe they are going to stagger the research in a way that you can only find some sort of research on, you know, another planet. I think that would make the research tree right now more challenging, is to restrict access to pieces of research unless you get to, like, let's say the Barren Planet or the Arid Planet or something along those lines. That might be kind of neat to do it that way. Stay on my feet. Stay on my feet. Come on, baby. You could do this. Don't go down that hole, though. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you watch the series, it's the same. I use the same. I think I changed my loadout after, what, the Radiated Planet? So when I went to Exotic and I went to this Tundra planet here, I had a different loadout. Which is, I just took more rare resources and took less compound and organic. I think initially I wasn't really taking the rare resources to trade. That was a mistake. It's definitely a mistake. Oh yeah, and on your back, make sure you're loaded up with resin so that you can get those initial buildings built. Let's see, arid planet. Arid planet's okay. It's again small. The gravity's not as light as barren. None of them were as light as barren has been. And arid planet, man, tough. Put your base in between some hills. That's all I gotta say. Or figure out a way to build it underground. I tried to build it underground. I did a horrible job at it. The ground was just not terraforming the way that I wanted it to, and it was just, I don't know, not working. But yeah, the reason why is because you've got these, you know, little balls of death that are constantly floating around. These red balls of spike that are constantly floating around, and unless you're inside of some sort of depression, then you know these balls are constantly going to hit you. I noticed that my second base, if you watch the arid video with the second base, it's a much better configuration. It was down there in the depression. The balls, a majority of the time, probably like 80+% of the time, wound up flying over my head, and I didn't have to worry about getting hit by anything. So let's see here. Yeah, let's pick up this little zebra ball. You guys will see this little. Doesn't do anything, not yet, anyways. And it's light out right now, so let's pick this guy up. Let's put it attaches to stuff. You can attach it to this if you want to. Makes a nice little light. Attach it to this one? Oh no, you gotta attach it to the truck. Makes a nice little light for the truck. I think it takes a double to attach to it. Yeah, where'd it go? Yeah, it attaches right here, but it's like really tiny. It kind of shrinks down. You can pick it up. It gets bigger, but it shrinks down. It's interesting. Little thing here. It's too bad you can't attach it to one of these. But it gives off light. Maybe at nighttime we can see that it'll give off some light. And yeah, I don't know why my frame rate is really low. It might have something to do with the number of bases that I have, or I don't know. Because when I started this game, the frame rate was not that bad. Maybe it's just the planet because it's rendering so much. It's got so much more organics and stuff. I don't know. Radiated planet. Radiated planet's not that bad, to be honest with you. I've had not too many problems on the radiated planet. A lot of gassers on the surface. Same with arid. You got some gassers on the surface, but you know, just be careful walking around. Radiated turned out to be okay for me. A lot of coal. Lot of coal on the radiated planet, especially when you get down into the cave system deep, maybe 2 levels down. You'll start seeing a ton of coal. And that is, I mean, like a ton of it. That was like one of the main resources that I found. So that was awesome because I found out that the trade for that is considered a rare. And that made a difference, especially on my loadout and getting any kind of, you know, materials to start off with. Made a huge difference. Easily trade for everything. So I mean, that trade platform's huge. If you're going to leave the planet, make sure you have that trade platform. Otherwise, I don't know. If you start with the Barren, you're going to have a really hard time building your base because I could not find resin for the life of me. I think I spent a good hour looking for resin one time, and deep down in the caves, and I just could not come across resin. But yeah, so that's it, I think. Let's head back to the base. We've cruised around. We kind of went in the caves. I didn't really go deep into the caves. Most of these caves right now are pretty similar. The only thing you're going to find is a difference in resources. I don't even think you're going to find a difference in surprises. Maybe there are some surprises that you find on various planets when you get deep down in there. I know I've heard the devs talk about that they left little things hidden for you deep down. But I've said this over and over again, and I'll say it one more time. I'm not interested in finding everything right now. I'm interested in leaving some things as a surprise so that when the game gets more developed, there's more content in there, I can go in with, you know, just kind of like a fresh set of eyes and be like, okay, let's try all the things that we haven't tried, you know. I think base building, it might get, you know, they'll probably make some tweaks and improve some things, but probably ultimately it'll remain the same. Let's take this one storage off of here. Take that off. Let's lay that down over here. And let's go back to where it all began. One last time. Definitely got plenty of fuel. Just for a little nostalgia. Let's go back to see the first base. Hopefully I'm close enough to Terran. I might have to jump a couple times, but we'll see. Alright, where are we at? Yep, a little far away from it. Let's go to exotic. I think I can get to exotic. Might get me close enough to it. Let's see. I think I was inside of Terran there for a minute. Or a Tundra for a minute. Okay. Next to exotic. Let's look at rotate. Tundra. Oh, it's coming. It's coming, it's coming. Go. Alright. We'll end this series by going back home. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed the series. I hope I was able to show you a little bit about Astroneer. This is definitely not the end. We'll do a new series as soon as they have their next update. Maybe look at some of their new stuff. Like I said, I'm not gonna dig too deep into the next one. Maybe I might have to. They might break it, and I might have to start all over again. But we'll see how that turns out. There we are, back at my first home. Wow, it's been so long since I've been here. It's amazing. I don't even remember this base that much. Wasn't there a ton of rocks that I was complaining about here at one point in time? The solar panel has stayed up remarkably. We didn't lose it. Wow. So different. So different. Alright, well, that's it. That's it for my Astroneer series. For this version of Astroneer. Stay tuned for other series. I've got several other games that I'm playing, so hopefully you guys tune in for that. I'm going to be checking out some new games here shortly, so I'll keep posting some really cool stuff. And give a like to this series and subscribe, you know, please. You'll see all the new content that I put out, and I put out content daily, so multiple videos on a day. At least it's been working that way so far. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks. You have a good one.